clear that the ends justify the means philosophy is animating the right now as much as it animates the left.
Big news over the weekend. We triggered the right. We triggered some people. So why are these people? Who are these people? Are they the left stifling debate this way and getting so trigger happy? Well, we've got television's Mark Pellegrino here to discuss. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's actually watch this. Someone like Ben Shapiro and a lot of ideologues, like a lot of like sort of more philosophical political commentators, like things really matter to them. So I sincerely know that like Ben Shapiro has a problem with anti-Semitism, right? He thinks it's very wrong for a number of reasons. He also strongly believes that the left is the biggest threat to liberty and to the Jews. But what's he going to do now when this conservative movement and what it's become has become this the conspiracy camp, the camp where there's a place for blacks blaming the Jews for their problems, stuff like that. Like what's Ben Shapiro going to make of all that? What's he going to do about that? Is he going to keep on employing someone like Candace Owens and vouching for her with his own reputation? Or at a certain point, is he going to walk away from this thing that he built? All right, Mark, I don't remember if you were actually there when I said it the first time, but what is your reaction hearing it?
I was there. I think when you said this was the Ye episode, wasn't it? Kanye West's breakdown, public mental breakdown.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my reaction is not that I don't think you're saying anything too controversial. So I'm very interested in hearing what these comments are that were coming at you from the right.
All right. Somebody goes, well, since that's not going to happen, I think he'll be fine. What does that mean? That's not going to happen. Oh, like the conservative movement won't be a place where like there's conspiracies and like, blaming of the Jews. I mean, to the extent it is happening, Ben has a crisis on his hand. Like he's got a conflict between one set of values and another. Jason then comments, he will do what he always does, kick ass. All right. I mean, the question is he going to be kicking ass with Candace Owens on his staff while she's continuing to peddle some points of view that Ben considers unsavory?
Hey, listen, I just want to say it's clear that the ends justify the means philosophy is animating the right now as much as it animates the left. I mean, when Herschel Walker, when those abortion accusations came out against Herschel Walker and he denied them, and his son came out and just said, look, my dad is a terrible father. He was going out with all these women everywhere. He really hurt us. He really hurt his mother. He's not a very good man. People were jumping on him because it was important to win that seat in Georgia for the Republican Party. So the very thing our founding fathers feared was partisanship, was the idea of these rising parties that would become entities unto themselves and be warring factions that would take precedence over principle, is happening right now. And now I think we see people responding in the same way on the right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ben Shapiro's been selling bits and pieces of his soul to the devil for a while. And look, maybe you need to be involved in politics these days to an extent. But I mean, he must be wrestling with his conscience. The more that the people around him are basically selling down the river a lot of the values that Shapiro has always pushed for. Like Shapiro was generally a free market guy. He believed in liberty as like a God-given thing. He was like for the founding fathers, seeing them as, godly people who recognize our godly rights. I mean, God is very real to Ben Shapiro. His love of liberty, I think, is largely intertwined with his religious faith. And he's been watching the conservatives, and specifically the ones at the Daily Wire who he works with and employs or partners with, openly saying, economic liberty was, overhyped, they're saying. And you know what? We got to grow out of that. We've got to evolve. We got to, yes, embrace religion, but economic liberty and individual rights, that was always kind of a leftist thing. Now, looking back, they did not age well. The left gave us, or individualism gave us social justice and wokeness. After all, that's the way they see it. So definitely Shapiro's been sort of watching his own movement sort of move away from a lot of the values he believes in. But it gets worse when someone like Kanye West says what he says, and then Candace Owens, who is on the Daily Wire, is saying nothing was anti-Semitic about that. And then just a couple Sunday morning, I saw Candace Owens retweeted some guy, Max Blumenthal, I think his name was, and Max Blumenthal or something. I think that's his name. He was saying like this Zionist, Jewish supremacist establishment won't permit any criticism or they'll shut you down. And Candace Owens is like retweeting this saying, yeah, you're going to get in trouble for saying that, just like I get in trouble for criticizing BLM. So, okay. And then Ben Shapiro retweeted her saying, while I dislike the ADL, blah, 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 like I would not retweet somebody who's that, he's in trouble. Look, he's got a crisis on his hand. But I mean, look at the comments here. Debate him and he'll tell you what he's going to do. Lol. And 10 upvotes on that. Yeah, debate Ben Shapiro. Everything to them is, oh, debate him. Oh, you think the left? Everyone's like, someone's commented, how long before he takes this down due to backlash in the comments? I guess, first of all, I don't even have access to take down this video if I wanted to, but also, not only will I not take it down, we will do a follow-up episode with television's Mark Pellegrino. Next guy commented saying, I love Ben Shapiro. Yeah, see, I don't think he's really getting the point here. They to them, because people have gotten so tribal too, right? Like anyone who criticizes Ben Shapiro must be coming from the left, right? They must be Democrats. They must be social justice woke, yes, feminists. It's like, it's inconceivable that someone who's like a real liberty loving individualist would be, plaguing Ben Shapiro and pointing out his inner contradictions that he's contending with. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yeah, we're caught between the two tribes, and it ain't pretty.
Roger comments, is this guy for real? Spitting out what he heard instead of doing some research to find out how wrong he is. And that got 17 upvotes. What did I hear and that was not accurate about this? There is, in fact, a place on the Daily Wire. There is a place for Candace Owens, who is on an ongoing basis apologizing for Kanye West, that is downplaying the severity of what he's saying, and also perpetuating the same, to an extent, the same trash herself by acting like, oh, look, they're coming after us because you can't criticize the Jews, something like that.
Hey, so we have the ends justify the means now rearing its ugly head on the right, but we also have an old right-wing way of doing business, which is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so now they're just embracing people who are anti-woke, regardless of how stupid they are when you scratch the surface. Provided they're anti-woke, they're on the right side, and they're going to fight for them till the death. And that's pretty scary too.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, nothing irrational. Nobody irrational can really be your friend if you're fighting for liberty, for individual rights, for reason. And that's what the main problem was with Trump. It wasn't that his policy per se was the worst ever conceivable. It was that, in my perspective, the way Trump was just clearly following caprice. It's like, that is not a good look for a politician or for a leader, for a commander in chief, and for people to enthusiastically support somebody who's just so arbitrary is a bad sign. David says, he is going to profit, referring to Ben Shapiro. Conspiracies pay more and more quickly than general idiocy. Okay, so conspiracies pay more than general idiocy. Does that mean conspiracies are part of idiocy, but specific? Or does he say conspiracies are actually good and general idiocy is like what the mainstream normal guy
I think maybe it's just it's a specific form of idiocy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now here's the thing. Ben Shapiro, he very deeply does not want anti-Semitism to rise on his watch. So he does need to make a decision. It's not that he's got other, this may come as a surprise to some people, but people care about things other than just money, especially, people who are, deeply motivated in a particular philosophical mission. So yeah, there are things that matter to Ben Shapiro more than just money. I believe that. Josie says, Ben Shapiro is in the front line in fighting woke/left bullshit. Owen crossed the line and Shapiro called her out. Yeah, he did call her out. She's also still on his network, reaching 1 million people with every episode, where she's saying nothing Kanye said was anti-Semitic. And that's just, the establishment woke people calling it anti-Semitic. Okay, it's just the same comment over. Nick says, so because of made up BS that isn't true, is someone that values truth going to abandon something you lied about? No. No, I disagree with that. I think Ben Shapiro, I was just today watching him on the Lex Fridman show. He very much is bothered by what Candace Owens has been doing. I guess.
So you think the proper response to Candace Owens' support of Kanye West would be to fire her?
I don't have a proper course of action for Ben Shapiro because I disagree with him even having a conservative movement. I don't think forming a big tent of anti-leftists was a good strategy because they don't really stand for very many good things. It clearly, liberty was something they were willing to sell at the first challenging point because, oh, no, big tech is using their liberty. So we need to break up big tech and use antitrust legislation. They use every tired leftist argument that, Tea Party conservatives used to debunk 12, 13 years ago. It's just, it was always a losing strategy. So yeah, Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager, they see Candace Owens as this godsend. Oh, wow, a black girl who hates the left and hates Democrats and can, really help change the culture. Okay, but you're also giving a very inexperienced, very hot-headed girl who never apologizes for anything, never admits she was wrong about anything, constantly using charlatan tactics, constantly vilifying anyone who disagrees with her, and peddling in conspiracy junk. I think a couple years ago, Candace tweeted like, the left doesn't want us to interview Alex Jones, so I'm going to interview Alex Jones. And I think the Daily Wire wouldn't let her do it, but nonetheless, like that's her approach to things. Whatever the left says don't do, we're going to do. And so, yeah, if that's the type of person you're bringing on board in the first place, that tells me a little bit something about the bar, where your bar is set.
Yeah.
And then it's you can only kick the can down the road for so long before it blows up,
When you look inside, you always find, quote, the dear self